Hello and welcome back to New Comic Book Day here at Comic Vantage, and this is the week of July 18th, 2018. But before we start on my normal review for the week, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has entered week 3 of my Christmas in July contest. Absolutely amazing. I'm loving all the comments, all the responses, just the absolute turnout to it has been amazing. I'm just having so much fun. And also, you have 3 days left to enter. Today's July 18th. I'll be pulling the winner July 21st, 2018 on Saturday. And that will also start week 4, which is the final week of the contest. So get your entries in before it's over. All right, let's get started on the reviews for the week. So this is the day where I go to my LCS, pick up my books, bring them home, give them a read, come back and tell you guys all about them. Give me my honest review on them, whether I like them, whether I don't like them, all that kind of good stuff. Now, there can and will be spoilers, like usual. So if you don't want spoilers, back out now, come back later. Let's get started. First up this week, X-Men Red, number 6. It's a cool, gentle cover. Actually, they catch the character's name. It's not that the cover is gentle. I really think it's neat. I'm loving this cover. It's really cool. He's an interesting character where he can make himself super strong and kind of large, but it gives him pain. But what we are finding out in this book is that it seems that the pain that is inflicted upon him is actually psychosomatic because of all the trauma he received as a child. He automatically associates the pain with using his mutant abilities. And Jean Grey goes into his head and unlocks that for him, so he'll no longer feel pain now when he uses mutant abilities. I think that's very cool. That's a neat feature. Now, other than that, this book seemed like a whole lot of filler. We have Cassandra Nova, who is trying to use Sentinel technology, and with Forge's help, to turn everyone in the planet against mutants, actually make them hate them right away. So they are seeking refuge in Atlantis with Namor. As you can see, they're building an underwater dome here, which is going to be home to a new Cerebro, or as Honey Badger puts it, Cerebro, which is awfully funny. I love Honey Badger. Then we have our team breaking into an airplane. I believe it was the first issue where there was a governor or a senator who was murdered. Everyone's blaming Jean Grey for it. But they think they can use her cell phone to clear Jean Grey's name, so they're breaking into this plane to steal her personal effects. Jean Grey meets up with Cassandra Nova and realizes she's the one who's doing this. I'm really liking the artwork on this book. It's kind of realistic and sort of raw and a little bit scary. It was really cool. Storyline was good, but like I said, it was a whole lot of filler until you get to the end. And Cassandra Nova's riding with someone and reprogramming it. Then you realize she's kicking the Abomination into the ocean to go attack Atlantis. That was a really cool twist. I really enjoyed that. Anxious to see what the next issue is going to bring. But like I said, it was a little slow going. Seemed like a lot of filler. But it was still a good read, especially if you're reading it. Next up, X-Men Gold number 32. Another issue that really just seemed like a lot of filler. At the end of last issue, we had Rachel here reverting to full hound form and going through and attacking her teammates because she's in this weird hallucinogenic state. This issue pretty much picks up at the beginning of that one and tells everyone's little stories on how they met up with her, which, I mean, is kind of weird for an issue, you know. It just kind of says, hey, this happened, and then you see her beat them. I do love seeing Storm here with Stormcaster in her full Asgardian glory. I think that's so neat. I love this form of Storm. And then by the time we get to Rachel again, you know, where they catches up to the end of the last issue, we have her meeting up with Cyclops, and he talks her down. And that was pretty much the entire issue. A little slow going. And it pretty much ends right where the last issue ended. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean, it was an okay read, seeing some of the little, you know, backstory of how she got to this point, or actually what everyone else's story. But this issue really could have been mixed in with last issue and just made two longer, making a continuing story instead of backtracking. I don't know. It was weird. Anyway, I mean, it was all right. So there's that. Next up, from Image Comics, Analog number 4. I'm really, really enjoying this story. We have our courier here named Jack. There was a great unplugging in the world that released everyone's personal information all over the planet by the internet. It was really, really cool, and it forced everyone to transfer everything, because the government was watching everything, and it forces everyone to transfer everything physically. So you have these couriers that carry physical information from one place to another. That's why it's called analog, because there's no longer digital information. One of such courier here, his name is Jack, and we have Aunt Sam, instead of Uncle Sam, who works for the U.S. government. They want to get back in the secrets business, so they make him an offer where he has to bring all the information to them so they can copy it before he delivers it to his destination. And of course, he's like, yeah, up yours. I'm not doing that. So he's supposed to be transporting some information to Japan, and he meets up with Hideki here, who says that the project wants to meet up with him. Now, I was a little like, what is the project? Come to find out, the project is a complete artificial intelligence who's testing out different forms. That's why all these little robotic animals are here, to see which one it likes. And it wanted to meet with him to have a conversation about the unplugging and how it was a coincidence that 2 years after artificial intelligence were allowed on the internet with all this vast information, that it's now shut down, and they kind of took it personally. And he was just giving them, the lowdown on how it wasn't personal and this whole 9 yards. It was really an interesting take on the artificial intelligence aspect of it. But he gives the AI some information that nobody else wanted it to know, hence the sadness. And then he's formally kicked out of Japan. I enjoyed the dialogue on this book. It was a little slow going because it really just was a whole lot of conversation between Jack and the artificial intelligence, the project in Japan. So, I mean, it was a slow read, but it was still kind of interesting to get a little bit of backstory and some of the insight on why the unplugging happened. So, it's a great read. The first 3 issues, absolutely amazing. And I believe this has been optioned, I think it's for a TV show or a movie or something recently. So those earlier, like issue number 1 is really hard to find right now because of that. But if you could hunt it down, I'd say pick it up. It's really good. And next up, from Aftershock Comics, Lost City Explorers. This I had a lot of fun with. This story has intrigue, and it has weird alien life forms. We have Hel here. Her and her brother Homer, their dad is an archaeologist, and he believes he's found the lost city of Atlantis in the United States under Manhattan. And it looks like he did. He went missing in the last issue. Everyone thinks he's dead. His assistant came to the kids and said, "Your father is not dead. He has just been kidnapped and he's being held in Atlantis." So they are going to find out what happened. He was working for the Sagan Corporation, who seem to be a bunch of bad people because they're hiring this, it looks like a military ops team, to take out and shut down the operation and get rid of any evidence that it ever existed. So they sneak in and they find footage of this thing actually attacking their father. So they're going to find out what happened. By the time we get to the end of the issue, they are now being pursued by this military team. And they are heading into the subway. She found a map of the waterways under New York City, and she thinks she knows where to go, and she's leading them in. And that's going to take us into the next issue, where they are on the run. Really, really good. I'm having fun with this story. It's a really great take on the whole Atlantis mythology. Really neat. And everyone knows that's a great story of Atlantis. A lot of fun to read. Only 2 issues in. I would suggest you pick it up because this seems like it's going to get really good really fast. Not that it's not already. The first 2 issues laid down a lot of the groundwork, and now it's getting exciting. So I would say pick this up. And next up, from Image Comics, Skyward number 4. Here's another book that's been optioned. I don't know if it's a TV show or possible movie. So the first issue is nigh impossible to get. Really good. I love this story. You have a G-Day where all the gravity on the Earth is flipped. So everything is floating up into the sky. People, cars, animals, cats, and everything is just gone. You have Willa here, our heroine, whose father was instrumental in G-Day, and he thinks he knows how to reverse it. One of his partners was a gentleman named Roger Barrow, who seems to be a very bad man, and he's made a lot of money on helping people deal with no gravity. And so he does not want this reversed, so he's now after them to stop them, probably to kill them so that the information does not get out. I love the artwork in this book. It's very airy. I love the way that everyone's hair floats. It's just absolutely amazing. Like I said, her dad he thinks he knows how to reverse it. The only problem is he's afraid to leave the house. So that scene there, she was knocking him out, and now she's taking him in a duffel bag to get him out of the house so they can figure out what happened. Now, the coolest part of this book is her dad finally decides he wants to get out, but it's raining outside. And she's like, oh dear Lord, he's never been outside. He's never seen what happens when it rains. So here he is outside, freaking out, hanging on for life, and he's like, what the hell is that? And this was so cool. I loved this. This is what it looks like when it rains. Just a giant ball of water floating in the air. That is so insane. I love that. And he enters the giant raindrop. Oh, it's so cool. I love that. One of the real neat things about this book, I like they show the black and white cover art in the back. And then they show the colors that go underneath the cover art. Isn't that cool? Never thought the colors would be so rough, but they really are. Look at that. And then you just overlay the inks on top of that. That is so neat. Anyway, great story, great read. This is really original. It's one of the most original stories I've read in a long time. I love it, and I cannot wait to see where this goes. It's really a lot of fun. A definite pick up if you can find it. Or if not, wait for the trade. All right, and then next up we have Green Lanterns number 51. This, oh man, this semi-virgin cover. Absolutely gorgeous. I love this. I had to grab it. The Green Lantern story's really been picking up again. We started off with Penelops here, one of the lanterns from Penelo. His entire planet is being attacked. And it's being attacked by the Eon. And it looks like they're drilling into this planet, sucking out its resources. So that's a little cutscene, and then we flash to Kyle Rayner, Jessica Cruz, and Simon Baz carrying a badly injured Guardian, who does end up dying. I mean, who's the artist in this book? The artist for this issue was Mike Perkins. I actually enjoyed this artwork. It's very realistic. I love the facial expressions he put on Jessica Cruz here. Really, really good artwork. So the entire planet and the core is under full attack right now. They have storms, they have just high winds. John Stewart has been beaten severely. Let's see if I can get to a good picture of that. Anyway. And it just seems like the core is under siege right now, the entire planet. They've never seen weather on the planet before, because Mogo keeps it in check. So they're trying to build a giant dome around it to protect them. And then Penelope's ring returns. So Kyle Rayner, Jessica Cruz, and Simon Baz all rush to Penelo to try to help him. And they find the poor dude dead. This was a lot of fun. I had a great time reading this story. I'm looking forward to the rest of this arc. It's really good. Like I said, Green Lanterns is one of those books that's really hit or miss. Sometimes it's really hot, sometimes it's kind of bleh. But this is one of the hot ones. This is actually a really good story. I enjoyed it. The dialogue was great. The interactions were great. Everything was a lot of fun. So this is a definite pick up. And next up from IDW, Lowlife's number 2. Wow, if I'm not mistaken, I just reviewed issue number 1 like 2 weeks ago, I think it was. Or maybe it has been longer than that. It felt like it was just yesterday I read this book. Really, really good. Again, the entire storyline is about a dirty cop named Richard Grant. Now, his wife was assaulted. And the man who did it got off. So, right now, he's coming to visit a gangster who's supposed to be one of the big bad crime bosses in the city, named Wendell, to take care of this for him. So he's actually kind of in a moral quandary right now where he doesn't want to work with this guy, because right now he is on the take, but it's really just to turn a blind eye to some things. But if he goes through with this guy is actually going to own him. And he agrees. He exchanges a life for a life. If Wendell takes care of this guy for him, he'll take care of somebody for Wendell. As far as revenge books go, this is actually really up there. This is a really good story so far, and it's only 2 issues in. I want to see how deep this Richard Grant is going to go in this story. Really, really good. I guess this is the cover for number 3, next month's issue. I'm loving it. I love this kind of stories, though. I've been a huge fan of revenge stories forever, so this is really neat. I'm liking it. The artwork is really good. It's very rough, very visceral. Everyone's kind of exaggerated, just their emotions, and you can kind of tell what is happening just by looking at them. I cannot wait to see where this goes. Very exciting book. I have a feeling it's going to get bloody. That's all I can say. I think it's going to get very, very bloody and brutal. So definite must have. Only 2 issues in, really easy to grab both of them. And last up this week is Injustice versus Masters of the Universe. I was really, really excited for this book. I couldn't wait for it to come out. Huge He-Man fan. I've never read Injustice, but you can kind of get the gist from the beginning of this because Batman lays out the whole story for him. Issue number 1 of a 6-part miniseries. Whoever thought you'd see He-Man next to Superman here? Tila hanging out with Batman. I mean, this is just awesome. First up, we have Zodak screeching across the universe, trying to get back to his hometown to warn them of something big. And, at first you start to think maybe he's talking about Superman. But, we'll get to that in a second. Anyway, fast forward here, and we have He-Man here battling Fakor and a bunch of other dissidents. Of course, we all know Fakor is a robot, designed to look like He-Man, although he is not. Now, the events take place shortly after the He-Man Thundercats storyline, so you can kind of pick up from there. If you haven't read that, another amazing read, you should really grab it. The Freddie Williams artwork is absolutely beautiful. I love this man's artwork. I met him recently at the Amazing Con, and I handed him some of the Thundercat He-Man books, and he said when he was drawing those, it was like the 8-year-old kid in him was just screaming with delight. And then I handed him the Batman Ninja Turtle crossover, and he's like, with this one here, the 12-year-old kid in me was screaming with delight drawing the Ninja Turtles. So that was really cool to hear. He loved it. So, by the time we have He-Man, and actually at the events of He-Man Thundercats, everyone knows he's Prince Adam now. So, and here we have Swamp Thing and Zatanna watching him, and they're saying how they think they might have found the one. So they grab him and they have a little meeting with Batman and Harley Quinn and Green Lantern, or Green Arrow and Cyborg and everybody else over here. And they tell him the story of Superman and his descent into dictatorship. And they tell him that he might be the one who can stop him. Just because one of Superman's weaknesses is magic, and we all know that He-Man derives his powers from magic. And he's probably just as strong as Superman, which is kind of cool. And at the beginning of the book, we find out that Skeletor is missing. No idea where he's at. Until we find out that Superman actually found Skeletor in a very feeble state. And he's giving counsel to Superman, which is really interesting. So He-Man listens to the story. He decides that he is going to go and help them. Oh, and I think that's kind of funny. You see Cyborg there with hair? Orko gave him hair. He decides he's going to go with them, and you pretty much think that's where the storyline is over. And then we come back to Zodak. And we're like, what is going on here? You know, we think he's streaking towards Eternia to warn them of Superman. But he is not. Apparently, Darkseid is coming after Eternia. So we're going to have several different storylines going on here. This is going to be huge, huge, huge fun. Seriously, absolutely, this is going to be a blast to read. I was excited just getting through this book. So good. 6 issues. This is number 1. It's out today. Just go and grab it. Seriously, do yourself a favor, pick it up. And then once you grab that, grab the trade for He-Man Thundercats. I think it came out like, I don't know, a month or so ago. Pick that up too. So much fun to read. Anyway, so these are my books for the week. These are my opinions. Your mileage may vary. Again, I want to thank everyone who watches my video, all my subscribers out there. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. I love you all. My channel is blowing up. It's awesome. I love it. Every minute of it. It's so much fun. Seriously, it really is. As long as you guys keep watching, I'll keep making videos. To all my new people out there who haven't subscribed yet, hit the little CV right there. Right there. Doesn't hurt. Just click it. Subscribe to my channel and hit that little bell up there. It gives you notifications, lets you know when all my new stuff is coming out. So, again, we have 3 days till week 3 of Christmas in July is over. You have till January 21st, 2018, or July 21st, 2018, sorry about that, to enter. So go do it, and then week 4 is going to start. And that's that. So like always, thank you for watching, and take it easy.